Now, for a lot of travelers, they dream about visiting every country in the world. They want to collect stamps in their passports. But here's the problem, I just saw this video of the one guy, he traveled every country in the world and he was asked to tell a story about every country. And here's the problem. For every country, he didn't have a real story, right? Like, let's say, I think it was Sweden. He said, Sweden, it's really cold in Sweden. Well, no shit, motherfucker. Obviously, it's cold in Sweden. But then you ask yourself, have you even experienced what Sweden is like, right? And I feel like this is the way most people travel who travel to as many countries as possible. So, what is the solution, Nishat? You're asking. I'm telling you, every city that you go to, every location, every country, every continent, whatever it is, you need a mission, right? I say this all the time, and if you've been following my channel, then you know this. But that's just the truth. Let me tell you, my last trip to India, my mission was it to go to the northern states who bordered to China, right? And I had everything planned, right? I went with my friend Aishwari, and we were trying to go to this one specific village. We heard about the village and it was really unexplored. So we didn't see any videos of that village. So we wanted to go there. Now, we went from Mumbai all the way to Dharavi, made a lot of stops, but then when it came to that village, we couldn't get into the state because the state was closed off to foreigners. So even though my friend could have gone, I couldn't have gone. And our mission changed. So what did we do instead? We went to Meghalaya, which is one of the northeastern states, right? Not too far from that state. And then we looked at the villages that we could visit, right? And we found a village. It was a whistling village. And, I made some videos about the Northeast. You can check them out. And so what we ended up doing was we went to a city. Well, we went to Shillong, the capital city of Meghalaya, and then we visited so many villages because that was our mission. And then in the end, we went to the whistling village. And so it was kind of hard to get to that village, right? Because you have to get through the mountains, and it was really hard to find a driver who would drive for like, I don't know if it was 2 hours or 4 hours. He would drive us there in the morning, and then in the evening he would drive us back, right? It wasn't easy, let me tell you, to find a driver. But we ended up finding a driver, and he brought us to that village. Now, when we went to that village, the driver, we were talking to the driver. I tried to make friends with him. And so I told him about our mission. We want to visit some villages that not a lot of tourists go to. We want to experience the culture, right? And then he basically said, say no more, all right? And so when we went to that village, he made so many stops of different villages, right, that have no foreigners, no tourists ever going there, not even Indian tourists who go there. And he was translating for us. I made a couple of videos, you can check them out. And so then in the end, we found the whistling village. We were able to talk to the people, what are their opinions, what do they eat, what do they think of Modi even, the Prime Minister of India, and a lot more. So what does that tell you, right? We had a mission, and without that mission, we would have never gone to Meghalaya because we wanted to achieve something, right? We had a great time in Mumbai, let me tell you. We had a great time in Mumbai. I know a lot of people there, I have a lot of friends there, but we had a mission to go to that specific village in the northeast that borders to China. But we were not able to. But because we wanted to achieve a mission, like if we would not have gone to that village, we would have felt empty. And that's when we changed course and went to another state and tried to find villages there. And that's how we found out about the whistling village, which we visited. Now, I'm talking for a long time, just wanted to give you an example, but I want you to think of James Bond. Not too long ago, I found this one website where it showed every location on the world map of where all the scenes in the James Bond movies were filmed. Obviously, James Bond, and James Bond doesn't go anywhere without a mission, right? So he goes to Udaipur in India, he goes to Hong Kong, Thailand, Rio de Janeiro. He always goes somewhere with a purpose. And his mission is always really hard. And because it is hard, he has to change course every now and then. And that's what happens. He wants to go there, he ends up there. because he has a purpose to go there. And that is basically how you should look at travel. If you look at the stamp, memories should come up, stories should come up, missions should come up, hardships should come up. And this is how you need to look at it. Do you have anything to show for except for visiting monuments, crazy party stories, or pictures of the food that you ate? Do you have anything to show for? Do you have friendships? Do you remember that one person who helps you out in that difficult situation, right? Do you have these stories where you almost died, right? Where something crazy happened to you? This is what happens to me. This is the case in my situation. Because I grew up watching those James Bond movies, right? And for a lot of you that seems cringe, like, it's James Bond, brother. It's not a real character. But I'm telling you, you can live like that, and you should travel like that, actually. So if you make the decision that you want to travel like that, where should you start? I'm telling you exactly how, right? So before you go on to your next trip, write a short story. Write a short story of your ideal trip, right? So let's say you go to Rio de Janeiro, just like James Bond did, right? You should write out your story. Like, if I go to Rio de Janeiro, when I get there, I want to go to someone's house. I want to even maybe go to the favelas, right? Obviously, I would never recommend such a thing. But my goal is to go to the favelas and eat a meal with a mafia guy. I don't know, whatever you want, right? Obviously, never do such a dangerous thing. This is the moment where you need to tell your limiting beliefs to shut the fuck up. This is where you cannot think that you cannot be realistic, right? Be realistic. This is not how real stories are made, right? This is not how hardship gets created. Now, if you don't want to do something as crazy as going to favelas, which I would never do, obviously, then take something simple. Something simple that may be hard. Something simple where you don't know how you're going to get there. Now, I can give you an example. When I went to Mumbai the last time, I met this guy, this Korean guy from Los Angeles, right? And I asked him, like, what are you doing in Mumbai, right? And he told me, I came to Mumbai because I want to be an extra in a Bollywood movie. So that was basically his mission, right? He came to Mumbai, didn't even know how to get into Bollywood, and that was his mission. Now, if you don't know, Mumbai is the hotspot of Bollywood. So all the famous actors, they all have houses in Mumbai, all of that. So it can be something simple or something hard, but it should be something where you're not exactly sure of how you're going to get there, right? By the way, if you want to get a free PDF on how you can outline your mission, then I have an online community called the Chameleon Society. You can get in for completely free, and this is basically where you learn how to build an international network all around the world that will give you access to so many missions. Doesn't matter if you don't have any money, doesn't matter if you don't have any social skills, or if you only speak English, I'll get you there. So just join for free, link is in the description, and you'll get that free PDF. So to wrap it up, before you go somewhere, write down your mission, set the end goal, and then reverse engineer what do you have to do to get there, step by step, because this short story will hold you accountable. You cannot after the trip say, yeah, but this is actually not what I wanted and all that. No, you have the proof. You told yourself that this is what I want to do. And if you tried, then that's all that matters, if you really tried. Because that's what I did when I went to India. When I wanted to get to that village, I had to change plans. I had to change my mission. But the most important thing is that I tried. And this is when you really deserve your stamp in your passport. Always remember, blend in, stand out, and belong anywhere. Take care.